You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis show. And my guests have been Asa Nkoma, Dr. Jemima Nono, Nana Atodaze, and Atta Acha. Let me share with you some of the messages that have come in. And Oliver Bambai in Salaga says that the president has set a bad precedent by granting the M3 a presidential pardon. It's a remission. Henceforth, undermining the constitutional architecture of our country. Musa Abattoir in Kumasi says the same constitution which got them jailed is the same constitution that has gotten them out. Mugabe spoke on behalf of the three and shown considerable remorse and apologized to the Chief Justice and the judiciary. Okay, so for the unfortunate and regrettable conduct, Bonti Benjamin in Echimebwakwa says that King Rehoboam failed because of bad advice. JM has failed Ghanaians by executing the ill advice from the Council of State. You don't know how exactly the Council of State advised. Let's be careful about that. Okay, except that people are saying somebody has come already to speak from the Council of State, very novel, and saying if somebody is aggrieved, they can go to courts. Okay, so I think I retract my saying we don't know what they said. You say ill advice from Council of State, which is undermining the judiciary of the country. Then Paul Adokisi from Etibie in Kwehu says by pardoning the M3, the president has committed a moral suicide and a constitutional murder. I see. Why? It has the tendency to bring chaos. Now the family of Dr. Ali Gabas has also petitioned the president to pardon him. What happens if the president refuses? Asem Beba Debi. Okay, and that one too, there's some conspiracy theory about it that, for all you know, it is meant so that the president will grant it and then to be used to equalize what has happened. Gabi Amenyunu in Sunyani says, so Penana Atos submissions. Okay, Nana is asking whether it's not going to be Asari Chodako. He's not the one. He says that
you do a lot of that, but it's not a bit to you, then you don't like it.
Nana Chodako's submissions, you can vilify the court in the name of freedom of speech and get remission. I don't think far. Then Akum Aviaka says, I am really sad the Supreme Court did not additionally ban the M3 from campaigns and also voting or speaking at public gatherings. This will have at least sanitized our airwaves or rally grounds. They can't do that to them. Kofi Sika says that we need to make the partisanship, okay, we need to take the partisanship out of this and deal with it dispassionately and objectively. What is harsh, simpliciter. And if anything could be done by a harsh decision, it certainly must be done, regardless of the culprit's partisan affiliation. It's remission and not pardon, and it will rather deepen the democracy that we have embraced in that various arms of government will not arrogate to themselves constitutional powers. Okay, thanks for your message. And just a couple also. Professor Kwekuaza has a rather long one, but I'll just read his conclusion, which he says that the remission was not just lawful, it was also inevitable, ethical, and apt. So he comments the remission. Another one from YKA Ansayabwa. He says, I can sense Article 57, Clause 5 will be very busy when someone leaves office. Okay, when someone leaves office. Clause 5 says the president shall not, while in office as president, be personally liable to any civil or criminal proceedings in court. And then 6, civil or criminal proceedings may be instituted against the person within 3 years after his ceasing to be president in respect of anything done or omitted to be done by him in his personal capacity before or during his term of office, notwithstanding any period of limitation except where the proceedings has been legally barred before he assumed the office as president. Okay, so you say you can sense that, meaning somebody will sue him or that they will bring contempt proceedings against the president afterwards. Interesting. Let it happen and let's see. And thanks for all of your messages. Now, let's go to Donkorkrom briefly and check what is happening in Donkorkrom. Now, I have been informed by the police that the withdrawal of their men from Donkorkrom was not to punish the people of Donkorkrom, but was because there is no more a place for the police there, and also it was to protect the police, the officers there. I read a brief story by online on the 19th. It says the Ghana Police Service has withdrawn all personnel stationed at Donkorkrom in the eastern region due to the destruction caused to a police post and its properties in that town. The decision comes after residents in Donkorkrom touched the police post and police vehicles in protest of 2 police officers who escaped after they were arrested for their involvement in the robbery of a GCB bullion van in the region. Residents who suspected that the police officers were deliberately left off the hook angrily attacked the police station and demanded the transfer of all personnel in the town. The 2 police officers were rearrested at Nkoko Thursday afternoon and have been transferred to the regional head office for prosecution. Now, speaking at a press conference on Friday in Accra, Director General of Criminal Investigations Department of the Service, Prosper Aglo, stated that 2 of its officers being involved in a robbery does not make the entire force a bad one. Well, that's true. He condemned the behavior of the residents and stated that until the destroyed station is renovated by the residents, these are the conditions, until they renovate the destroyed station and all damaged vehicles are paid for, no police officer will be stationed in Donkorkrom. And he also urged the residents to show remorse and apologize for their actions. I start with you. I start with Atacha. Yes. Yeah, what do you make of it? Some say the police cannot say we have withdrawn our men from the place.
They shouldn't do that at all. It's the police caving into a force which is bigger than them. We suppose that in every civilized realm, I would do apologies, the police are so powerful that they can't be intimidated. So for the police to say that there's an area in Ghana that we can't so pretend, please, that is a huge liability that they should readdress.
But as we speak, they have a military police team that is supposed to be there to ensure this doesn't happen again immediately.
Well, it's fine, but the statement is not good for their image that they ever said that. But I'm of the humble view that the kind of policing that we have in Ghana can bring this about. You see, we see the police as an oppressive force outside any territory, whilst in other jurisdictions, the police are trying to find ways of blending with the community and solving problems before they happen. So where is the intelligence on the ground in relation to people who would want to visit violence in a community? The police should move from that level of policing in which they have become an ambulance service. It's only emergencies that will wake them up, and go to ground policing in which explosive situations are detonated before anybody can do anything. That is the kind of policing I'm looking for. But I'm of the view that I don't want to go into the details of what has happened, but I'm of the view that the police should never surrender to any force in the country. It's a bad signal.
Is that a suggestion to you, Nana, that this is a surrender to this community? Those who are there who are doing the wrong?
Not in the least. I mean, policemen are human beings. You understand? They have blood running through their system. I mean, if there's a mob action and it's such as targeted at their person, I mean, it will be suicide. I mean, are we saying that we should commit suicide? They should stay there and be annihilated? No. Strategically, tactically, they may withdraw. regroup, and come back. And I know that you are talking about farm place, isn't it? You're not talking about a place where we can easily do a mobile movement of troops and get out there. But they are back, you see. So strategic movement, strategic withdrawal is not a defeatist action at all. Secondly, my learned friend, as usual, I think that we really must give very high marks to our police, in spite of all the weaknesses. Look, it is because of them that we sleep, and we sleep well until the next day. In some other countries, you can't apply. I don't want to mention
it. By the grace of God also.
I don't want to mention a nearby country where people cannot sit out after 6 p.m. You know it. You understand? So, no, I wouldn't mention it. So, I think that it is very important. And I want to mention that there is a certain statement or a statement which do come occasionally on this, but it disturbs me, where so-called experts in the security experts hurriedly come up, lashing out and whatnot. I think if you're a security expert and you know of a weakness or default, I think that there must be a mechanism for them to pass it on, because it's really undermines these people. Look, what happened? It was not a problem of the policemen on the spot. It just happened to be that some a bullion van or so was attacked by some bad nuts in the police. There are bad nuts in everywhere. You get me? In the law, in the court, in the market, among the clergy, and all that. So it happened. It was unfortunate. And they were attacked. You've destroyed their their residence. Where do you want them to sleep? So they withdraw strategically, and I would have, if I were IGP, I would have ordered my men, pull out, don't die. Let's come, we'll support you, we'll go back and take over the place. And that's exactly.
But that's different from what they said. No, they are going to
re-strategize. They are saying that we are not returning until you, who destroyed the post, have renovated it, paid for the vehicles that have been damaged, and you have apologized and shown remorse.
Unfair demand. Yes, I'm not sure. I don't know whether it was a communication issue. Yeah. Look, these are criminals. I don't care for a criminal to be given the task of putting up a building and writing a letter of apology. The criminal's place is in jail. So for something which appears to be the police sulking, when I expect the police to go in with the force that they can muster, pick these miscreants up and jail them the way it should be jailed by the Attorney General. They should be jailed by the Attorney General.
This is a community acting en masse.
But they identify. Look, identify one or two. You see, that's all we need sometimes in this country. One or two. Put them before court. Put them before a court that was as strong as the Supreme Court on the day the Muntie people were jailed. And when they are dealt with, it will be you see, there's an aspect of punishment when you go into criminal jurisprudence, the principle of deterrence.
Yes.
It is to deter the person himself or herself, but also to deter others from going that way.
Precisely.
And I think that, look, I can agree that for operational reasons, the police would have had to withdraw because their lives were under threat.
Okay.
But a police force only withdraws to gather strength to fight back.
Right.
But if you withdraw and say, we won't come until you have built our houses again and written a letter of apology, that doesn't absorb, there's crime. So I agree with the police to an extent. The withdrawal was good. But I think that the police, and I hear they've gone back in bigger strength. And if anybody there thinks he's a man or woman, he should get up. And because, look, Ghana police, when they want to work, they can work.
In fact, they've been working.
Don't joke with Ghana police. So maybe the police themselves wanted a certain sense of force security so they can go in there and operate. But the statement itself, I think, could have been crafted better. I think it was more of a communication issue.
What do you say about this?
I think that...
What should they be doing now, the police?
Well, first of all, you need to understand also the community. I don't think every single member of the community was involved in that. And just as it was a few bad nuts of the police that went to rob, maybe a few ringleaders or bad nuts of the community instigated that crime. And, you can understand that there has been a breakdown of trust between the community and the police. I think that's understandable. The police that are there supposedly to protect are now the ones that are the instigators or the perpetrators of crime. and robbery. So I think, the police should have been a little bit more reflective and said, okay, there was a few bad ones amongst us. Not only did they perpetrate the crime, when they were arrested, they went missing. Yes. So that further exacerbates the problem. And even though I condemn wholeheartedly what the members of the community did, yes, and I do support the police actually withdrawing for a period, yes, but it's very sad that the whole community has to suffer this. It's almost like a double whammy. First of all, the police that are meant to protect you go and they're perpetrators of the crime, and the ones that are supposed to protect you then again are withdrawn from your community. So just to support what everybody else has said, they should go back in full force. They've got intelligence. They can know who the perpetrators of the crime were and deal with it. This is not time to have a hissy fit. It's time to sit down and engage the community, build back this trust that is rightfully gone, and do your job. Not time to be a mardy person.
Do you find this to be a situation where, because the people have lost trust, we say there comes a time when those who are supposed to provide leadership, if they are not, and the people feel that they are clearly not, they will intervene? Some sort of, what Jerry Rawlings, what does he call it? Some sort of civil civil disobedience, but he calls it what? Yeah, some defiance, of sorts. Positive defiance. That you are supposed to be arresting your own because they are doing you're not dealing with them. So it tells you that's how the police is got into, and the people now want to take over their job.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and promote lawlessness. Now, we're a country that is ruled by laws. And even though we can understand frustrations, means in no way should we support any forms of violence or vandalism or whatever. We've just talked about the Muntier 3, and this was a threat. This is actual damage and the rest. So I don't think we should be here saying or condoning any form of civil violence.
Ahmed Entry Buampong says, can we hear the military refuse or withdraw to defend the state in the event of a civil insurrection or an armed attack from a foreign threat, on account that lives of personnel would be lost? Okay, he says this is shocking.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that shocking. I mean, it is what do you call it? A strategic movement. You understand? If there's a force moving on in the desert or somewhere on the trail of Saddam Hussein, and then intelligence you receive shows that where you are heading, your whole force will be wiped out. What happens? You send your people there? No. So I think that what we must understand is that this whole issue of security is even a shared responsibility. It's not the police alone that should be sitting down there making sure there's law and order. The community has an obligation. So it is in this one that I agree with you that, look, the community itself will also have to learn to police itself. Because who knows, maybe some of these actions would have been provoked by people who love to, as we say in Akan, if you don't have a cloth, the music should never end.
Okay. I take a break here. I take a break here.